Alright, here's the rewritten script, crafted to sound like a warm and knowledgeable doctor speaking directly to an older audience. Hello there, I'm Dr. Edward Langley, and I'm glad you've joined us. Now, if you're over 60, what I'm about to share isn't just a suggestion, it's really more of a guide. It could lead you to a very comfortable and active later life, or on the other hand, it could lead to some pretty unpleasant prostate problems. You know, most men aren't aware that they're unintentionally harming their prostate with everyday habits. Without even realizing it, they're almost feeding something that's growing inside them.
In my Praxis, I sehe Botsides of this.
I have men who are really suffering, their social lives and comfort ruined by constant bathroom trips, pain, and sometimes, a complete inability to empty their bladder, which is a serious medical issue. It's so sad because often, they've ignored the early subtle signs their body was sending them for years. But then thankfully, I also see men in their 80s and even 90s who are full of life and have excellent urinary function. They're not worried about prostate issues hanging over them all the time. What's their secret? Well, it's not a magic pill or special genes, I can tell you that. The real difference, what separates suffering from well-being, comes down to daily habits. It's the little choices we make from the moment we wake up until we go to bed. Today, we're going to talk about 10 of the most common habits that can be silently inflating your prostate, almost like a balloon. And let me tell you, the number one habit, which we'll get to at the end, is so common and ingrained in our lives that you're probably doing it right now without realizing the damage it's causing. Have you ever found yourself up in the middle of the night, standing there trying to start urinating? Or maybe you feel like no matter how hard you try, the flow is weak, it stops and starts, it's almost just a dribble. Or perhaps you get that frustrating feeling of leaving the bathroom only to feel like your bladder is full again, like you didn't empty it at all. This isn't just a part of getting older. These are warning signs from your body, your prostate crying out for help. Now, if that feeling of never fully emptying your bladder sounds familiar, why don't you go ahead and comment, "Healthy bladder" below. I want you to know you're not alone, and together, we can start making things better. Prostate enlargement, what we call benign prostatic hyperplasia or BPH, isn't some unavoidable fate. It's actually the result of ongoing inflammation that's made worse by things we can actually control. So, let's start with number 10, something that might seem odd, but it's very common: not drinking enough water. Many men, trying to avoid nighttime bathroom trips, drastically cut back on fluids, especially in the afternoon and evening. It seems logical: less water in, less urine out. But our urinary system is much more complicated than that. This approach can actually backfire. When you don't drink enough water, your urine becomes very concentrated. Think of it less as a clear liquid and more as a thick, acidic fluid full of residue. This concentrated chemical becomes an irritant to the lining of your bladder. Now remember the basics. The prostate sits just below the bladder, encircling the urethra. When the bladder is constantly irritated by concentrated urine, the inflammation doesn't stay there. Like a fire spreading in dry grass, it spreads to nearby tissues, and the prostate is the first one affected. Chronic dehydration keeps your prostate in a constant state of irritation and inflammation. And remember, inflammation is a major cause of prostate enlargement. Inflamed tissue is swollen tissue, and it doesn't work properly. To make things worse, many common medications for older men, like diuretics for high blood pressure or some antihistamines, can cause dehydration, creating a perfect storm for prostate problems. A dehydrated body also has a harder time getting rid of toxins, which puts even more stress on the system. Over time, this silent damage shows up as prostate enlargement and worsening of the very symptoms you were trying to avoid. The solution is simple: make water your friend. The key isn't to gulp down gallons at once, but to take small sips throughout the day.
Keep a water bottle with you.
Get into the habit of drinking a glass when you wake up and another between meals. Don't wait until you feel thirsty. That's already a sign you're starting to get dehydrated. Use the color of your urine as a guide.
You want it to be a pale yellow.
If it's dark and strong smelling, your body is telling you it needs water.
Don't be afraid of water.
It's your best ally in keeping your prostate healthy.
Now, number 9, the tyranny of the chair.
I know that as you get older, your favorite armchair, the one that seems molded just for you, becomes a comforting place to relax. But spending hours and hours sitting, whether you're watching TV, reading, or working, can put constant, harmful pressure on your prostate. It's a silent enemy that attacks through inactivity. When you sit for long periods, there's continuous pressure on your pelvic floor, that area between your genitals and your anus. This pressure affects the blood vessels that carry oxygen and nutrients to your prostate. Think of it like stepping on a garden hose. The water flow slows to a trickle. The same thing happens to blood circulation in your pelvic area. This reduced blood flow deprives your prostate cells of the oxygen and nutrients they need to stay healthy and repair themselves. Tissue that doesn't get enough oxygen is more likely to become inflamed, weak, and vulnerable. This constant pressure is an open invitation to inflammation and, as a result, prostate enlargement. Studies show that men who spend a lot of time sitting are more likely to develop BPH and have more severe urinary symptoms.
But the problem goes deeper.
Inactivity also weakens a very important muscle group that we don't talk about much, the pelvic floor. These muscles act like a support system for your bladder and prostate. When they're strong, they help control urine flow and make sure you empty your bladder completely. A sedentary lifestyle makes them weak and inactive. A weak pelvic floor makes it harder to fully contract and expel the last bit of urine, leading to dribbling and, more importantly, incomplete emptying. This leftover urine in the bladder becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and a constant irritant, which just keeps the inflammation going. The answer isn't to stop resting, but to move around regularly. Try the 30-by-2 rule. For every 30 minutes you're sitting, stand up and move for at least 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be strenuous exercise. Just walk to the kitchen for a glass of water, take a quick walk around the yard, or do some light stretches. This simple act of breaking the cycle of sitting reactivates your circulation, relieves pressure on the prostate, and keeps your pelvic floor active. Don't let the comfort of your chair decide the future of your prostate health.
Habit number 8. Too much caffeine.
That morning coffee, with its wonderful smell and promise of energy, is a ritual for many of us. And 1 cup in the morning usually isn't a problem. The danger, like with many things, is in how much you have and how often. Too much coffee, black tea, cola, or energy drinks can irritate your urinary system and make symptoms worse if your prostate is already sensitive. Caffeine has 2 main effects that can be particularly troublesome. First, it's a diuretic, which means it makes your kidneys produce more urine faster. For a healthy urinary system, this isn't a problem. But if your prostate is already enlarged and making it harder to urinate, this extra volume can overwhelm your bladder, increasing pressure and the urge to go. Second, caffeine is known to irritate the bladder. It causes the bladder's muscles to contract more forcefully and frequently. That's what causes that urgent need to rush to the bathroom. For a man with an enlarged prostate, these contractions can be a constant source of discomfort. But it doesn't stop there. Caffeine can also tighten the muscles at the bladder's outlet, making the urine passage narrower and making it harder to empty completely. This creates a vicious cycle. The bladder fills faster but struggles to empty, leaving urine behind. This stagnant urine then increases pressure and inflammation in the prostate. I'm not telling you to give up coffee altogether. Moderation is the key.
Pay attention to your body.
If you notice you need to urinate more often or more urgently after your 2nd or 3rd cup, that's a clear sign. Try a simple experiment. Swap that extra cup for a caffeine-free alternative, like chamomile or peppermint tea, or a good decaf coffee. Sometimes, small changes to our routines can make a big difference in our comfort and long-term health. Habit number 7. The hidden cost on your plate: spicy and ultra-processed foods. Food is one of life's great pleasures, but the convenience of modern food and certain strong flavors might be quietly affecting your prostate. Let's start with overly spicy foods. Too many hot spices can irritate not just your mouth, but also your digestive and urinary systems. While capsaicin, the active ingredient in chili peppers, can be beneficial in moderation, too much can trigger inflammation throughout your body. For a man with a sensitive prostate, this extra irritation can be the last straw, making symptoms like burning and urgency worse. An occasional spicy dish isn't the problem, but if your diet relies on extreme flavors, your prostate might be feeling the effects. However, the real culprit here, the hidden enemy of your health, is ultra-processed foods. Think of packaged chips, processed meats like salami and sausage, frozen meals, and fast food in general. These products aren't real food. They're a chemical mix designed to be addictive, but are nutritionally empty and highly inflammatory. They're packed with preservatives, artificial colors, industrial sodium, and, most concerning, poor quality fats like refined vegetable oils and trans fats. These ingredients attack your health at a cellular level. Too much sodium, for example, not only affects blood pressure but also causes fluid retention, putting more pressure on the entire urinary system. Poor quality fats and chemical additives can disrupt your hormones, interfering with the conversion of testosterone to DHT, the hormone that most stimulates prostate growth. If you look in your pantry and fridge and see more boxes and packages than fresh foods, it's time for a change. Your prostate is paying the price of convenience. The key is to prioritize foods with natural anti-inflammatory properties. Fill your plate with vibrant colors, leafy greens, broccoli, bell peppers, and tomatoes rich in lycopene, a powerful prostate protector. Include fruits like berries and pomegranates. Choose fatty fish like salmon and sardines, which are rich in omega-3s that fight inflammation. Lean proteins like chicken and turkey, and plant-based proteins like lentils and beans, are also excellent. These changes will benefit not only your prostate but also your digestion, cardiovascular health, and energy levels. Your body will thank you with fewer symptoms and better prostate function in the long run. Habit number 6. Delaying bathroom trips. We've all been there. You're in a meeting, stuck in traffic, or engrossed in a movie, and you feel the urge to urinate. The easiest thing to do is ignore it, to hold it just a little longer. But turning this occasional act into a regular habit is a form of self-sabotage that seriously damages your bladder and, as a result, your prostate. To understand the damage, picture your bladder as an elastic, muscular balloon. Its job is to fill gradually and then, at a certain point, contract to expel urine efficiently. When you hold urine too long, you're forcing this muscle to stretch beyond its capacity. Over time, this constant stretching weakens the muscle fibers, like an elastic band that stretched to its limit repeatedly loses its strength. A weakened or lazy bladder loses its ability to contract forcefully, leading to the dreaded issue of residual urine. But the damage doesn't stop there. A full bladder puts direct physical pressure on the prostate, which sits right below it. This constant pressure causes irritation and inflammation in the prostate tissue. Moreover, stagnant urine in the bladder is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, which can lead to infections that easily spread to the prostate, causing prostatitis, a painful condition that further fuels the cycle of inflammation and growth. To protect your health, you need to develop a new habit: listen to and obey your body signals. Don't delay bathroom trips.
As soon as you feel a clear urge, go.
Always remember that the bladder and prostate are an inseparable team. What affects one affects the other. We're halfway through our list. If this information is already making a difference for you, imagine what else you can learn to protect your health. If you want to take control of your well-being, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Each video is a step toward a fuller, more active life.
Habit number 5. The invisible enemy, smoking and secondhand smoke.
It's no secret that smoking is terrible for your lungs and heart, but its negative effects extend to every part of your body, and your prostate is especially vulnerable to its thousands of toxins. Smoking is, without a doubt, one of the worst habits for your prostate health. And remember, even if you don't smoke, regular exposure to secondhand smoke puts you at significant risk, too. Tobacco smoke contains over 7,000 chemicals. Hundreds are toxic, and at least 70 are known to increase the risk of serious health issues. Substances like cadmium, for example, have been directly linked to a higher risk of prostate problems. The primary damage occurs in the circulatory system. Nicotine and carbon monoxide are potent vasoconstrictors, meaning they narrow your blood vessels. This includes the delicate arteries that supply blood to the prostate. Reduced circulation means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower removal of waste from the prostate tissue. This lack of oxygen and toxin buildup creates the perfect environment for chronic inflammation and gland enlargement. Additionally, smoking triggers a storm of oxidative stress in the body, a process we can describe as accelerated cellular aging. Unstable molecules, called free radicals, attack and damage healthy cells, including their DNA. Smoking depletes the body's antioxidant defenses, and over time, this accumulated damage in the prostate leads to persistent inflammation and growth. If you still smoke, the most powerful decision you can make for your overall health is to seek help to quit.
Talk to your doctor.
There are highly effective therapies and support programs available. The benefits are almost immediate. Within weeks of quitting, circulation improves, inflammation decreases, and your prostate gets a chance to start recovering. If you've never smoked, congratulations. Your mission now is to protect yourself from secondhand smoke. Avoid enclosed spaces where people are smoking. This simple choice can ensure years of better prostate health.
Habit number 4. Skipping medical checkups.
In our culture, there's this idea that a strong man doesn't complain and only sees a doctor when the pain is unbearable. This mindset, especially when it comes to the prostate after 60, isn't strength, it's a dangerous form of self-sabotage. Prostate enlargement is a silent process. It can progress for years without clear symptoms at first. When signs finally appear, the problem might already be advanced. Annual checkups are your early warning system, your radar to detect any changes long before they become a crisis. Let me tell you about a patient. Let's call him Charles. At 65, strong and active, he prided himself on never needing doctors. To him, waking up once or twice at night was just a part of aging. He ignored the gradual weakening of his urine stream and the feeling that his bladder wasn't fully emptying. He was embarrassed to talk about it. He didn't seek help on his own. It was his worried wife who practically dragged him to my office. When I examined him, Charles wasn't dealing with a minor inconvenience. He was in acute urinary retention, an extremely painful condition where the bladder is at its limit, but urine can't escape due to prostate compression. It was an emergency requiring an immediate procedure. A simple blood test, a PSA, and a routine physical exam years earlier could have caught the issue when it was easily manageable with lifestyle changes. Instead, Charles faced an invasive procedure and a long recovery. His story is a powerful reminder: prevention isn't optional, it's a necessity. Routine exams are quick, simple, and can save your quality of life. Delaying appointments out of fear or embarrassment means missing the chance to act proactively. Don't wait for symptoms to control your life. See your doctor or urologist at least once a year. Don't view this as a sign of weakness, but as the smartest, most proactive step a man can take for his future. Habit number 3. The hidden cost on your plate: foods that inflame the prostate. A good barbecue, a well-seasoned dish, food is undeniably one of life's great pleasures. But the convenience of modern food and certain intense flavors might be taking a silent toll on your prostate. Let's start with overly spicy foods. In excess, hot peppers and spicy sauces can irritate the urinary system. For a man with an already sensitive prostate, this added stimulus can be the tipping point, worsening symptoms like burning and urgency. An occasional spicy dish isn't the issue, but if your diet relies on extreme flavors, your prostate might be feeling the consequences. However, the real villain in this category, the hidden enemy of your health, is ultra-processed foods. Think of packaged snacks, processed meats like salami and sausage, industrial frozen meals, and fast food in general. These products aren't real food. They're a chemical cocktail designed to be addictive, but are nutritionally empty and deeply pro-inflammatory. They're packed with preservatives, artificial colors, sodium, and, most concerning, poor quality fats that attack your health at a cellular level. Excess sodium causes fluid retention, increasing pressure on the entire urinary system. Poor quality fats and additives can disrupt your hormones, creating an environment that favors prostate tissue growth. If your pantry is filled with more boxes and packages than fresh foods, it's time for a change. Your prostate is paying the price of convenience. The key is to prioritize foods with natural anti-inflammatory power. Fill your plate with vibrant colors, leafy greens, broccoli, bell peppers, and tomatoes. Include fruits like berries and pomegranates rich in antioxidants. Opt for fish like salmon and sardines rich in omega-3s, which fight inflammation. Lean proteins like chicken and turkey, and plant-based proteins like lentils and beans, are also excellent. These changes will benefit not just your prostate but also your digestion, cardiovascular health, and energy levels. Your body will thank you. Habit number 2. Ignoring abdominal fat. As men age, it's common for weight to gather around the waist, forming the infamous beer belly. But this change is far more than an aesthetic issue or tight pants. This abdominal fat, visceral fat, is like a metabolically active factory, posing a critical warning sign for your prostate health. This fat isn't inert. It constantly releases inflammatory substances into your bloodstream, promoting chronic body-wide inflammation. The prostate, being highly sensitive, is one of the organs that suffers most. This constant inflammation irritates the prostate tissue, contributes to its growth, BPH, and increases the risk of urinary issues. Studies are conclusive. Men with a larger waist circumference have a much higher chance of developing an enlarged prostate and related discomforts. But the assault isn't just inflammatory, it's also hormonal. Abdominal fat contains an enzyme that converts precious testosterone into estrogen. This imbalance, with less testosterone and more estrogen, is directly linked to promoting prostate cell growth. And of course, there's the mechanical factor. Imagine carrying 10 to 20 pounds strapped to your waist 24/7. That's the load pressing on your bladder and prostate all day, worsening urgency and pressure sensations. The solution isn't crash diets, but gradual, consistent improvements. Start with small changes. Swap white bread for whole grain, cut back on sugar, and control portion sizes.
Incorporate a daily 30 Minuten Vog.
Losing just a few pounds can bring noticeable symptom relief. Keeping a healthy waistline isn't vanity, it's one of the most powerful strategies for protecting your prostate long-term. Habit number 1. Not managing chronic stress. And we've reached the most dangerous habit of all, not because it's complex, but because it's invisible, underestimated, and something most men completely overlook. Chronic stress is a silent poison for your prostate. When you live in a constant state of anxiety, tension, or worry, your body enters a perpetual fight-or-flight mode. This triggers the continuous release of cortisol, the stress hormone. In small doses, cortisol is helpful, but at chronically high levels, it wreaks havoc, causing systemic inflammation, muscle tension, and hormonal imbalances that directly affect the prostate. Stress involuntarily tenses your pelvic floor muscles, restricting blood flow and irritating the nerves around the prostate. Worse, elevated cortisol weakens your immune system, making it harder to fight inflammation. Older men often carry a heavy burden of stress in silence, financial worries, family issues, or a loved one's health. The physical result translates to more bathroom trips, pelvic pain, and a more swollen prostate. But here's the best part. Unlike other factors, stress management is entirely within your control and doesn't require drastic measures. Simple habits can dramatically reduce stress levels and, with them, inflammation.
TRYD Breting. Inhale trug your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4, and exhale slowly trug your mood for 6 seconds.
Just 2 minutes of this calms your system.
Incorporate light movement.
A walk in nature has been proven to lower cortisol levels. Practice silence. Dedicate 10 minutes a day to yourself without screens or distractions. Connect. Laughter, conversations with friends, and quality sleep are powerful medicines for your body and prostate. Managing stress isn't just about feeling better mentally, it's a physical cure from the inside out. This change alone can help reduce symptoms and naturally slow prostate growth. It's, without a doubt, the most powerful step you can take today for a healthier, calmer life. But I know many of you are seeking faster results or are dealing with symptoms that are already highly bothersome. For those cases, tackling the root of the problem, inflammation, more directly is essential. That's why I want to share something I've been recommending to my patients that has shown groundbreaking results. It's a simple 15-second masculine ritual before bed that has demonstrated impressive results in reducing prostate swelling and relieving the most frustrating symptoms like constant dribbling and bathroom urgency in just weeks. The beauty of this method is that it works naturally without the need for expensive medications that, as we know, often come with a long list of unwanted side effects. Unfortunately, natural and effective solutions like this rarely get the spotlight as they don't generate the same profits for the pharmaceutical industry. So, if you're truly frustrated by not getting a full night's sleep or feel embarrassed by constant bathroom trips, I've left a short video presentation explaining exactly how this ritual works. The link is pinned in the first comment below this video. Now, I want to hear from you.
Leave a comment below.
Which of these habits surprised you the most? If you have any questions, this is the place to ask. I read and respond as much as I can personally. And tell me which city and country you're watching from. I love connecting with you. If this video brought value to you, the best way to thank me is by clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the bell to never miss our upcoming videos on men's health. And last, but perhaps most important, please share this video. Send it to a friend, a brother, your father, or your son. Quality information like this shared at the right time can literally make a difference in someone's life. Until the next video, and always remember, your health is your most precious asset.
Take care.